Okay, hi everyone. So almost 50 years ago, on December 1968, three astronauts on the Apollo 8 spacecraft took this photo of Earthrise. And it's been described as one of the most influential environmental photos ever taken. It was the first time we saw ourselves and our home from a distance. And for me, it was also very influential. And it sort of started a mission for me about making society a more sustainable and resilient one. And this mission started back in first year of university for me. It was the end of my first semester, and I failed a few courses, and I wasn't really happy about how I was doing, and I wasn't really motivated. I struggled to make that connection to the real world. How and what I'm learning right now going to help me make a difference in the future? And so, in my second semester, I decided to pursue an arts degree, and I just signed up for any random classes that were still available. And one of those classes was an environmental history class. And it's where I saw this photo, and it's sort of where I found my calling. And in the class, I was learning about things, pressing global issues like climate change, energy security, cities. And I found it really fascinating. I loved it. And I knew this is what I wanted to do for my career. So I became an urban planner. And so what do I do as an urban planner? So really broadly speaking, I plan and manage the development of cities and human settlements. I work with communities to help them plan and realize a vision they have for a neighborhood or a city, working together on issues like housing, infrastructure, natural resources, social services. And because of this, the role of the public has always been central to my work and central to all planners' work. And why is this? Well, a big part of planning is about managing change, and implementing any agenda of change cannot really happen without informed and inclusive and involved public involvement. And nowhere more evident is a need for good public engagement than in my work in climate change action. And so, with the adoption of the historic Paris Climate Agreement back in 2015, governments around the world now are working towards, reducing their national greenhouse gases. And this also helps contribute to the various sustainable development goals we've talked about. But there are a few challenges when it comes to engaging people about climate change. One is that for many people, climate change, it's very abstract and remote for people, making it difficult for them to act on it. What can I do as a single individual person? I feel so powerless. Another problem or barrier or challenge is many groups are sort of underrepresented in traditional political decision-making about climate change. So for young people, for myself, and for many in this room, climate change is going to be one of the biggest issues in our generation's lifetime. We are not only current stakeholders, we are future stakeholders, because and we and our children are going to be disproportionately impacted by the inaction today. And we know that, the sort of traditional doom and gloom, the world is ending kind of messaging doesn't really work. And we also know that youth are really concerned about climate change, but they don't necessarily know what to do about it, or they may have competing priorities, and all of us do. And so how can we find a way to educate, inspire, and empower young people to act on climate change? So a few years ago, I joined a research team at the UBC School of Community and Regional Planning when I was still a student there. And we worked on an initiative to mobilize young people for climate change action. Working with our partners, we developed a provincial-wide student energy residence competition. And so for 3 weeks in November, students would have to do it in the dark. That was the name of the competition, where they would compete against each other for 3 weeks and see which university could reduce the most amount of energy in that time. And we wanted to use the latest technology in social and digital media and the latest knowledge in behavior change to sort of inform the competition. So working with our partners, we developed an online Facebook app where students could log in and see in real time how everyone else was competing, how they were doing in terms of energy savings. They could also see how students were doing in terms of points they would be earning participating in the competition. And there were 4 ways in participating. Do it daily. It was a series of actions that students could pledge to do every day. So turn off the lights, wear a sweater instead of turning up the heat, or taking the stairs instead of the elevators. These all have energy implications. Do it together, a series of events where students came together and talked about and participated in awareness building and dialogue about climate change. Do it on camera, where students would make YouTube-style kind of video diaries about their experience and struggles about the competition and share it with their peers. And lastly, do it with your politician. It was a civic engagement challenge where students would learn about a local planning issue in their neighborhood and contact their provincial MLA and get them to commit to policies that would promote sustainable greenhouse gas reductions. And so climate change action doesn't have to be boring. We wanted to make this competition fun, playful, communal, and experiential in a way that matches the diverse preferences and interests of people using new forms of digital media. And the results were amazing. So the winner of the competition was one residence group at UBC here in Vancouver, and they saw a 16% reduction in their energy use within that 3-week period. We also tracked energy use for the remainder of the academic year, and there was a sustained 7% reduction from the baseline. And students also spoke about the sense of empowerment and how transformative it was for them. And beyond energy savings, there were all these positive benefits from social capital, building community, personal growth, and civic awareness. And yeah, so, and for many of these students, this is the first time they're away from their childhood home. And they're exposed to so many ideas, views, and worldviews that it's a tremendous opportunity to promote sustainable attitudes and behaviors about climate change. And our findings were just published a few years ago, and it's helping to inform some of the work happening here in BC and abroad about engaging the public on climate change. And for me, it was really, really rewarding being able to help empower young people to make a difference. And with respect to the Sustainable Development Goals, they really helped provide me a framework and understanding how my work fits within a larger global agenda of positive change. So that was my story, so thank you for listening.